All right, so welcome back to From the Beach to the Bar. My name is Jess. My partner Ben is stuck in a deposition today, so he's going to be joining us a little bit later. But today we have a very important guest with us, Tracy Hibbetts. She is a candidate for District Court Department 5 here in Clark County. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thank you, Jess.
So we want to start off with your background and then get into ultimately why you decided to run. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Cool. My name is Tracy Hibbetts, and I am running for District Court Department 5 here in Clark County, meaning that the entire Clark County, anywhere you live, whether it be Boulder City, Henderson, Laughlin, all north, all the way to Mesquite, I cover the entire county. So I will be on everyone's ballot in November. So be on the lookout for that. But before that, obviously, at some point, we all became lawyers in order to run. And I actually grew up here in Las Vegas. I've been here since 1994 and went to Valley High School, graduated from UNLV with a degree in psychology and criminal justice. While I was kind of trying to figure out what to do with my life, I came upon a lawyer who was doing insurance defense work when I was studying for my graduate degree in criminal justice. She asked if I ever thought about law school, and that's when I kind of turned my focus to that and became a paralegal, got my paralegal certificate, and had my start in civil litigation firms, and ultimately end up going to law school at California Western in San Diego. During that time, I had the opportunity to intern with the Clark County Public Defender's Office, and at the time, Judge Nancy Osterly at Justice Court. And during that time, I got exposed to the criminal justice system and was able to also get a view from the bench with Judge Osterly. And she used to run the moderate offenders program, which is now the DUI treatment court.
Right.
I saw the lives being changed and how the community can be impacted based on specialty court program, and ultimately decided that one day I want to run for judge. And the time has come after being a public defender for 10 and a half years, and now I am with the district attorney's office.
Right. And that brings to the bench a unique perspective, right? Because you have been on both sides. And a lot of candidates, there's a few candidates that have that public defender or defense background, prosecution background. How long did you spend with the public defender's office?
I started as an intern in the summer of 2009, and then I actually went back as a law clerk in 2011, became their deputized law clerk when I passed the bar in 2012, and got hired on later in 2012. So I spent about 10 and a half years at the public defender's office as a deputy, and then before that as a law clerk and intern. Now I've been at the DA's office 3.5 years, so total 14 years in practice.
Ooh, only 3.5 years? I thought it was longer than that.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so, and you also said you had a start in civil litigation as well. So that's very important because your seat, Department 5, is it a split calendar?
Right now it's civil, but I think you've been in front of Department 5 years ago with Judge Ellsworth.
Yes.
And that was a split department between criminal and civil. And she also did specialty court, like drug court, things like that. And so depending on the experience of the person who ultimately wins the seat, then the chief judge decides the assignment for the docket. So it changes depending on the department. So we are going to have new judges coming in next year. So the chief judge, who will be Tiara Jones in July, she will make those determinations, what dockets they get.
Okay, so that's pretty good because when you're elected, you'll be very valuable with your defense perspective, your prosecution background, and some civil litigation. So that's really valuable, right?
I try to be.
Okay. Let's see. Why'd you choose Department 5?
Well, when you look at the ballot, right, you get overwhelmed because if you see how many judges we have, the district court it runs deep. That bench runs deep. We got 32 departments in criminal and civil. Then you have letters literally A through Z in family court. That's 58 judges you have to vote for on the ballot. And they're all going to be on your general November ballot. So it's kind of easy when you're the kind of at the top so people don't get ballot fatigue. But you also look at some of the names. You look at names of people who have been around, that you've been in front of, that you like their temperament or experience or engagement in the community. There are judges that when I go to community events, you see them and you think, oh, this judge is not just got elected and kind of say thank you and just took their job, but they gave back to the community, whether it be mentorship, taking interns, or really engaging, putting the sweat equity, give it back to the community, the voters that voted them in. And when you see a name that you're not familiar with, you go, I kind of want to see what that is about. And I want to take on that challenge, and decided that to take on an incumbent versus some of the people I did practice with. Mm-hmm. And I do consider them friends, so you don't want to take on a friend as well.
Right. And there's a lot of deputies that are on the ballot this coming cycle. Okay. For the listeners that don't really know what district court does, can you kind of go into what a typical calendar is, both criminal and civil?
Sure. So let's start with criminal. It's kind of easy. And basically, anytime someone is charged with a crime that is punishable by more than a year in jail, what we call gross misdemeanor, that's 364 days, $2,000 fine, or a felony, which you can be in prison minimum 1 year or more, those are the higher crimes. Those two sets of crimes, those type of charges will go up to district court. The person get charged with that crime will be what they call arraigned, meaning whether or not they understand those charges, they enter a plea guilty or not guilty, then it proceeds to jury trial. So that court does jury trials in both criminal and civil. Then you have sentencings as well. That's when you see people, when defendants get sentenced, meaning they get a jail sentence or the prison sentence or probation. Then on the civil side, it's anything over $15,000 because Justice Court has the $15,000 threshold. Anything above that will go to district court for civil. And that range is really why what subject matters that covers. You have your people think about slip and falls. Right. People think about suing a business, medical malpractice, your doctor screwed up or things like that. You want to sue the doctor, hospitals. Or it could be landlord-tenant. You're fighting with your commercial property landlord, contracts, employment. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Right. Okay. Now, with your unique perspective and experiences, life experiences, what qualities do you think make a good judge?
I've been fortunate enough to have different assignments in both offices, not just doing general litigation, but focusing on like DUI, focus on both defense and prosecution, being able to go to different departments and learning each judge's temperament. When you've seen so many judges, there are qualities that you like. And one of a few qualities I really appreciate coming from a judge is consistency, on time, punctuality, make a decision, and be professional. I think a lot of times that being on both sides, I obviously lose battles before, but when a judge doesn't give their reasoning, I don't get offended, or you don't leave the room thinking, wow, that really felt like a terrible experience.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm looking for when I see in a judge, and I want to exemplify that when elected as well, is be fair. There shouldn't be any emotions involved because you're supposed to be neutral. You're a neutral party, you call in balls and strikes. Make a ruling, make it quick, be on time, and be courteous.
That is very important because you and I both practice in district court a lot, and you do come across judges that have different temperaments, personalities, and some have very short fuses. Some people are very, polite and courteous, but it's what do you think for the average person that doesn't spend their day in court like we do? What's the biggest surprise you think an average person will come across if they step to the court?
I think in justice court it's a lot less formal than people think. A lot of times TV portrays the more serious in the higher courts, what we call district court, what I'm running for. The jury, the seriousness, or federal court, it's, you gotta make sure that you wear the pantyhose as women and things like that. But in justice court, it's really the people's court. The lower courts, it's a little bit more informal. This is where they handle traffic tickets and citations and misdemeanors. Mm-hmm. And the judges more understand, they see a lot of people come through. And so they break down the language. I think legalese, those big legal words, people get freaked out about.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of justice court judges do a good job about that. In district court, it is more formal. And I think it does freak out people a little bit more, the formality. So I hope to bring both professionalism, but as well as some humility, civility into the courtroom, so people don't feel like they're walking into a trap or, some scary place.
Right. Okay. So let's see what a real's typing here. So a lot of people miss out on these local elections because there's a lack of information or education, whether it be about the voting process or the candidates involved. What's the importance of elections like these?
Do your research, and let's just be real. If your candidate doesn't have anything online or a webpage presence, because we're all on our phones, how easy it is to go to any browser and type in somebody's name and go Tracy Hibbetts judge and see, or candidate for judge. And if I don't have a website popping out, someone doesn't have a website popping as a candidate, can you take someone seriously, right? The website, yes, it is obviously self-promoting, but at least it's some information. And if the candidate's running, they should have other maybe media links or social media presence. You see whether or not they're engaging in community over the years, over time, what endorsements they have. And also, somebody that's a lawyer, somebody that works in the court system. We kind of go stretch far and right in Clark County, so there's always someone who knows, but definitely do your research and read the background of someone, what they have done in the past, what are their qualifications. The state bar also tells you how long the person's been licensed, where they went to law school, whether or not they have been disciplined by the bar, they're in good standing or not. I think that's a really good thing. At the minimum, go on the website, go on the browser, do a search.
Do your research.
Do you find it difficult to separate between work and home?
Oh, it's funny you asked that, because my husband is a retired sergeant from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and he retired about 4 years ago. And both of us are public servants, and he actually got himself elected, and he's an assembly member. So a lot of times it does cross paths at home where we would talk about work, but I think we were better when we actually were both working. We really try to keep that away especially off the dinner table. Otherwise, it does get really intense because he sees it directly. He sees the trauma. We see, I think, Jess and I, when we're in court dealing with clients, as a public defender, you as a defense attorney, is we get the secondary trauma when we see people in jail, in prison, talking to them. And so I think sometimes you just have to leave that off the dinner table. Let's see. Speaking of our experiences, and I've probably known you for 15 years-ish? Yeah.
Around there?
That's a teenager.
Right? What's one of the more memorable cases you've come across?
And it could be good or bad.
Yeah, good or bad?
Just something that stuck with you.
I think it's more of a client. Young guy, Bryce is his name. And he keeps coming back to the system, and over the years, even as a prosecutor, I see him. And that breaks my heart because he is severely mentally ill, and there's nothing in the system or in the community that we can do for him. Because when he is in the system, he does get medicated. He does get the regular and structure, a safe place to stay. But once he leaves the system or leaves the walls of civil commitment on the non-criminal side, when they do have to be petitioned to stay in to get treatment because they're danger to themselves or to others, once that 6 months is over, they get released back to the community. But with no structure, they're not getting their medications again. And then we'll see him either in criminal justice system or they go back to the same civil commitment structure again. It's just really sad that we as a community haven't really gotten together to have a facility or the safety net to do that for our the people who are struggling with mental illness and crisis.
To break the cycle.
Yes.
So if you are elected, how do you change a situation like that? How would you remedy the holes in our system?
I'd probably get better at the legislation portion, because there are court systems that work with the legislature to see whether it be the funding, what loopholes in the legislation that we can close those up. I know that Judge Yeager worked really hard on those as well, which is why we have those structure in the civil commitment portion, so we don't criminalize them, that they can still get the safety and the provide a structure to make sure that they have, we provide some place for them, but it is temporary. And because there is some stigma about locking people up, whether it be in a facility or a jail for mental illness, there is still that maybe negative connotation to that, but we do have to do better that have structure. Treatment courts are great, but then we are still relying on them to do well on their own after.
Right. And then people ask me, like, the general, how do you represent defendants all the time or criminals all the time? And it's interesting because, and being a public defender, most of our clients aren't necessarily bad people. They have either mental health issues that haven't been addressed, or they're self-medicating, right? Or they have some addiction problem. I've only come across a handful of people that are just evil, just straight evil. In your experience on either side, what's your experience with that? Like, what's your take on, let's say, the mental health aspect or the criminal addiction aspect? Have you come across, as a prosecutor or defense attorney, someone that you can remember that was just pure evil? You don't have to go into names or, but
That didn't have a human side to it.
yeah, because that's in my experience, that's kind of few and far in between. It's usually mental health issues or drug addiction issues. It's not you're just a horrible person,
I don't think I would say horrible, but there are certain charges or crimes that individuals do that I believe that they're more lack of impulse control, that not necessarily evil, but makes them super dangerous. One of my least favorite charges of a crime that someone comes in and they're charged with that is discharging, which is firing a gun out of a car or at a house.
Right.
Even in a dirt lot, something that goes up must come down. That means that something, you're lucky that maybe something got hit. But when someone gets hit, when you fire a firearm in the metropolitan area, it's going to hit something or someone. And I think we've seen it in the past that it had hit a child in a road rage, it hit a child in the back seat. Those are the things that it's the lack of impulse control, the thinking, the consequence, the lack of thinking about someone else that might be in danger. That is one charge that when I see that, it scares me.
Right.
That is definitely one charge. You always have to why. And there's no explanation for why other than I just did it.
And I didn't point it at somebody, and they can't understand the consequences to the actions because they're like, I wasn't pointing it at anybody.
Right. And I think we've heard stories where bullets ricochet and hit someone and end up killing someone. Yeah, you didn't have that intention, but it did.
Yep.
And that's what the dangerousness. That's a charge that firing a gun is definitely one that it kind of gets my eyes open up a little.
Oh yeah, and I don't know. I mean, you probably see this too, but I've been noticing a lot of my clients have been getting younger and younger.
Yes.
In terms of 14, 15, 16-year-olds getting certified as adults, and they're being charged with serious violent crimes like robbery with use, discharging a firearm into a structure or vehicle. Have you noticed? Has it been a noticeable change in your office? Have you seen the defendants getting younger?
I do, and which is sad.
It is.
Because when you go to the juvenile division, both sides don't want to see these juveniles to go into the adult system because there's no turning back once you get adjudicated as an adult.
Right.
And unfortunately, you do see them get certified and come up. And I think there are studies out there that when someone is young and they pull the trigger or do something violent, they tend to do that again. And there's got to be better ways that we teach the thinking, resolution, de-escalation.
Right.
I think it has to start young. I remember reading these, it almost started as a joke, but it's almost the ethos, right? If a lot of our clients as defense attorneys at the time is, if someone our clients had family, role models, a little bit a hug, somebody who care about them, who gave a crap about them, they may not be our clients.
Right. 100% agree. Because you got to think at that age, if they're, I mean, I think I just got a case last week and the kid was certified and I think he's 14, maybe he just turned 15. But when they walked him in with all the other defendants, 40, 50, 60-year-old defendants, this kid just stuck out. His clothes didn't fit him. He just looked like he was a kid. And it's just sad. You're right. It's just sad to see that. And you got to think, like, how did that start? Like, is it a community thing? Is it a social thing? Like, is he just watching social media and he thinks this is cool? Is it the friends he's hanging around? Is it a family issue? But it is sad because I feel like these defendants are getting younger, and the violent nature of these crimes it's kind of alarming.
And I think when you mention social media, it is part of it. It's so easy to access the phones, and I was actually at lunch with a few other DAs who have children. They're coming up to teenagers, and they're talking about telling another parent with younger children, do not break down, give them an iPad, do not give them a phone, do not give them a smartphone, because they do go on these social media apps and they see other things, the endless scroll of other people doing things. They think that, oh, that might be cool because they're not being monitored, and it becomes a challenge, like, oh, can I do that and get away with it?
Right.
And if there's none of the don't do that, stop, then that might be, those things may be a crime, and that eventually escalates because you didn't get caught. If you got caught the first time, you probably won't do it, but if you didn't, you're gonna try harder, right?
Right. And this is a good segue into the social media and modern courtrooms topic. Do you think people take legal situations less seriously now because everything becomes online?
I'm not sure if people don't take the legal situations less serious because we don't see the part when they actually, let's just say they do get caught and they go to court. They don't go back and talk about that.
Right.
I'm sure if every person that leaves a courtroom was like, oh man, that was scary. I felt like I almost got prison. I learned my lesson. I think people would feel differently if there's the afterthought, like, oh man, I got caught.
Right.
I used to be on the vehicular crimes team. If the people who are doing the trick driving, the stopping the intersections, or the ones who are driving 120 on the freeway thinking it's cool, but they get caught and they get slapped with huge fine, maybe some jail time. If they went and talk about that and say, oh, don't do it, guys, I think people would be like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do 30 days in jail.
Right.
I think there'll be less people doing those things, but they only see oh, that looks so cool. Let's just stop the intersection in the strip. No, don't do that.
And they see the end video, right, where the police officer's behind them, and it's kind of like they think it's funny, like, ooh,
right.
Well, that's the issue with the younger defendants, is it's almost a badge of honor when you get caught or if you're chased. Because then if it is a slap on the wrist in the court system, maybe it's a small fine that their parents are probably going to pay. Or if they have to do some impulse control counseling or classes or some traffic safety course. Once they're done with all that, if they complete their requirements, then they go back on the streets and they're just bragging to their friends about, oh yeah, this is what I had to do. Now I have this badge of honor because I went through the court systems. I did some jail time maybe, and he's a little harder to his friends. And I see that a lot with the younger people. It's almost fun for them to either get away or get caught.
Right, bragging rights.
Yeah, it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You and I probably have cases like this. How bad or how useful is social media in a courtroom setting with a criminal context?
That's almost like every gun case.
Yeah.
I think every prohibited person, I think every prohibited person case, or someone's on probation or parole, is posting them with pictures with guns when they're not supposed to. And that's exactly how we use it. Mm-hmm. And it's always with weapons, or it's actually generally weapons, or like you said, being chased by cops. And those are felonies. People should not do that.
So, I'm here
Hi, Ben.
And I'm going to start with this. Never have two idiots plan a podcast.
You talking about you two?
No. Absolutely not. Somebody asked us to have her on the podcast, confirm a time, confirm everything. Then, about 10 hours later, decides to completely change it while I had set my schedule in a certain fashion. So,
Things come up, Ben.
while I love Hibbetts to death, kind of want to smack the shit out of her right now.
Well, if Justice Court didn't have traffic court at 1:30, I'd be cool with that.
Yes. So, I don't know what place you guys are at. Have we gone through background?
Yes.
Yep.
Have we gone through how you covered both ends of the court?
Yes.
And we've covered you have no civil experience or very little?
She started in a civil. Well,
Oh, so did I, man, but that was 6 months of nonsense.
she had some civil.
5 years. Well, for me, 5 years.
Fair. So you saw it. What type of civil?
Insurance defense, personal injury, and then went back to insurance defense, premises liability, product liability, employment. A firm called Phillips Balls and Engstead, they were the Walmart outside counsel at the time.
Ah. We got a decent amount out of Walmart once when we were just playing before we started getting serious.
Gotta start somewhere.
Oh, yeah. And then slip and falls are fun. So then who'd you do on plaintiff's side?
I worked for Randy Shimon and Lovis. So I got some of my pre-I experience
Sure.
from that. And then afterwards, I went back to insurance defense. That's when I went to the Walmart outside counsel firm.
And I'm a bit of a diva, so Kyle just handed me the lunch they bought me because they're wonderful people, so I apologize. I'm going to eat on the mic while everybody's talking. But are we just talking about shenanigans in court now?
Pretty much, we're talking about social media and how it affects some cases. We're talking. It kind of branched from. We're talking about how these defendants are getting younger and younger, and we're asking if we're spitting around whether social media and this badge of honor kind of. What's it called? The street takeover things, and they post it and it goes viral.
Aren't they doing some where they're doing runs into like Scientology buildings now too? I forget what they're called. Yeah, but yeah, they're doing these runs where you get like a body cam or whatever the
GoPro.
whatever those kids are doing nowadays. It's a GoPro that I have, my dumbass. But no, they're getting them and they're seeing so they're having a bunch of people rush the Scientology building and seeing who can get the farthest.
That's kind of funny. Really? Oh. Did not hear about this. That's kind of funny.
So I've just been seeing a lot of the strip takeovers I like to do on Saturdays. They do burnouts and then do those spins, probably around our city center.
Yeah.
Oh, sideshows. Yeah, they used to do this all the time in Oakland. Yeah.
They just there was a what was it? Didn't someone just get seriously injured in one of them? They just caught the driver. I think it was like a blue truck or something. I know a blue truck was involved, but it was kind of a big.
Is that why you wore your blue suit?
Yes.
Oh, I thought somebody got a shot, right?
I don't know. I don't know if something got shot or they got hit by one of the cars doing the spin outs, or I don't know.
Didn't we talk about how it was Tam's birthday yesterday?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tam's. Happy birthday to
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Burn hay.
We went to a country bar for lunch.
Ben loved it. He sang every word.
So what? Which one?
All red.
All red.
Oh, yeah. Blake Shelton's place.
Yes.
V. Thank you, Tracy.
Though, if we go by grammar, it should be only red.
Oh, ole red. Ole red.
Because all is just OL, but I'm saying.
It was OLE.
I know.
You
Oli.
don't. Oh, he doesn't know the song, does he? Okay.
No, I don't know the fucking song.
He says that. He was singing.
I love the two Asians are like laughing at me about not knowing country music. On some level, that's why I love this country.
I spent a week in Nashville and probably spent half that week at Garth Brooks' bar in Nashville.
Yeah, and you probably heard the word Oriental more than once.
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's very modern now.
No, it's very sad. I spent a lot of time in Tennessee.
It's actually the in thing. Everybody wants to be Asian now.
Oh.
Look at the panel.
I mean, yes.
You have Asian envy right now. Look at where you're outnumbered, dude.
No, dude, I grew up in San Francisco. This is normal for me.
He's feeling right at home.
Oh, then you know what? I didn't ask this question. What's your favorite dim sum place in town then?
What's the one we went to? I really like that joint, the one on the strip.
Din Tai Fung.
Yeah.
That's quite
Where's Sage's birthday?
That's not dim sum, that's dumplings.
It was everything.
Same.
You're not real.
Same.
Not real.
Tell you, where do you say?
Same. It was.
Tell you, we were in the best burrito in town. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, Taco Bell.
Dude, it's Roberto's, and you know it. 2 a.m. Roberto's burrito.
Oh, you can't eat that. Floor burritos.
With a side of roach.
Hey,
Hey,
that
Really?
that might be the same.
really? You ever been to Chinatown in San Francisco?
Oh, I know.
The best places always have
Oh, yes.
roaches.
I grew up overseas. I grew up in Hong Kong.
Oh, shit. No, it's clean there. Not as clean as Tokyo, but it's no Shanghai.
I took my husband to some hole-in-the-wall places in Hong Kong, too. We're good.
Best spot.
So whatever it is, it's good flavor.
I was about to make some jokes, but then I'm just going to get canceled about horror and law. But let's talk about you. Are we talking about why you're running against, is it Barrison?
Yes.
Typically, when you do this, if you're not supposed to say your opponent's name, that's why she gave me that look right there, in case you're wondering. But,
We can cut that out.
so.
we can cut it out.
No, you can't. And if I see that again, I'll smack the shit out of you, April.
We'll just bleep it. Just bleep.
Ben's just gonna beat every woman in here.
Oh my God, including you.
He's gonna best slap everyone.
I just, icy today, man.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, it just came in hot, dude. Jeez.
I had to do a depot that was very taxing. I'll just leave it at that. But so I know that you do have a large support in the civil community, and obviously you have the backing of a large part of, Metro and all the progeny. So what's your focus going into all this?
Community focus.
Okay.
Not just
But like
civ-
community focus is kind of like a bullshit word.
No,
I want to help the people.
Because I think people talk about community safety, like what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
But community focus is balance of both, not just safety, but also people focus. Before you got here, we're talking about people with mental health issues, substance abuse, things like that. How do we balance both? Because sometimes people want to see people in prison, lock them up. But at the end of the day, are we fixing what's at the heart of the issue of a person who has some record, but finally it's time that they're willing to do drug court co-occurring? One of these specialty courts, veterans, they're finally coming down to the point, I want to do this. Then do I send this person to prison, or there's specialty treatment and they want to go through it now? And that, I think that's more, what about community, that is community focus, because now this person can turn their life around and now they don't go back to the community and do the same cycle over and over again, which it victimizes the community. No, sorry, that's
But are you getting a split calendar or what if you win?
based on the new incoming chief judge, based on her experience herself,
My
probably.
best friend ever. I love her to death. Huggy.
Huggy ear.
I believe that, yeah, it's going to be based on the person. So yes, when I'm elected, that will be a split calendar.
Okay, so community focus works for your criminal element of your calendar, but how are you addressing your civil end of your calendar?
I think it depends what it is. I think civil has a lot of case laws to follow and coming in, and depending also what it is. I think part of sometimes civil bleeds into criminal.
Oh, that's very
Having done DUI on both defense and prosecution, I have been on the phones with victims and their civil lawyers. So a lot of that also kind of blends in, because at the end of the day is sometimes the victim, they have the right to speak, and they have right in the Marcy's law allows them to do certain things in having rights in this criminal sector, and then kind of bleeds in the civil side as well, as we see in many of our cases.
true. But one of the things is like there seem to be trends whenever you're dealing with like personal injury cases and stuff like that. And there's this new focus, or I guess this new push. There's been, I'd say, it's probably been out there for a year, that literally everything's a setup. That every large case is a setup in some way, and there's some conspiracy between like all these parties to create a setup. And so there's a new tactic, at least it appears to me, of them trying to go after attorneys and suggesting that we're coordinating these setups and doing things like that, and using the justice system, essentially, in my mind, to get out of, the fact that they got in an accident. So rather than address the accident, they're attacking the attorneys. Is that something you're familiar with, or a concern, or anything that you've been aware of?
I think there's always some sort of conspiracy no matter what. There's always an unhappy party.
Yeah.
And when I think both sides, I think on both criminal and civil, is if everybody gets out of it and not everyone's happy, that means it's a fair deal, right? Because that means not everybody didn't get all that they want. They all got something out of it. It's just not all what they want. So that's, at the end of the day, is that.
Yeah.
And I think that's how a lot of cases on both sides end up in negotiating. Because at least someone can say, I got something out of it. And I don't think, and when someone gets nothing out of it, that's when they start thinking, oh, it's a conspiracy. This system is BS.
There's a lot of that. Yeah, but that's just on my mind. You know, like I said, I came from a rather taxing deposition, and sometimes those things are painful.
I still like to think after 14 years that the system works. It's slow. Not going to lie, it is slow.
Oh, 14 years, you're a baby.
But we try to get there.
Agreed, we do. All right, so have we talked about weirdest courtroom moment?
Nope.
And did it involve Chad Lexus? That's what I want to know.
Actually, that's funny you mentioned that, because I did have it as a public defender. It was a case we're supposed to go trial on, but you're, as a public defender, a lot of your clients end up hating you.
I always tell them, anytime I have like a appointed client, which means I'm not paid, pretty much I am, but I'm not. I always said money back guarantee.
Money back.
Yeah, the money you paid, I'll give it right back if you're not happy with my services.
And we're actually set to go to trial. We're on the first day of trial. His family brings in private attorney, and we end up having a closed door hearing. Prosecutors get kicked out. Chad is one of them.
Oh, and he was upset. Chad is a good friend. I love the guy to death. We all love him to death. But he's very passionate as a prosecutor. Very passionate.
And I mean, he wanted to go trial. I totally agree with him. He wanted to go trial. We're ready. Everybody announced ready. We're there. Of course, the client didn't like me and my co-counsel, and the family brings in private attorney and comes in and wants to confirm. But his first day of trial, the attorney's not going to be ready. He never had,
On the day of trial.
yeah, he came in to confirm.
Say it. We'll cut this part out, but who was it?
Thomas Nicolaitis.
Michaelides.
Cut this part out too. He had just been reinstated shortly before that. And so this is a couple years ago, and Chad and Yuming were losing their minds. So we had a closed door hearing. The judge removed us. And at that point, the prosecutors were let back in. They were told that the PD's office is being removed as counsel. New person's coming in, and set a short, basically a firm setting, set it pretty quick. The next calendar stack.
So explain to people what that means when you say the next step.
So when a judge has split calendar, and this judge does have a split criminal and civil, she was currently at her criminal, and so the shortest setting she could give is 5 weeks out, which goes through her civil, then back to criminal. So the 5 week, 6 week continuum was the fastest she could set it for this case. And the DA that we talked so kindly about, he pointed at me and my co-counsel and said, we're not giving discovery. The new person can't get it from these two over here.
That sounds like my guy.
Just kind of flinging at us like these two peasants over here. And we just kind of laugh, because it's just kind of par for the course when you're a public servant. You just, when you get something for free, they don't respect you.
Agreed.
I think kind of like you said, hey.
Yeah, money back guarantee. Yep. Yeah. And it sucks. Because here's the thing, especially what's funny is, at least in my opinion, you can agree or disagree, but the biggest asshole always gets the best results. You know what I mean? The guy's the biggest dick who totally doesn't deserve it for whatever reason. That's the guy who all of a sudden something falls through and you take care of it.
Yep.
And the guy who you're totally pulling for, you're fighting for, you're staying up late at night for, just worrying, there's something wrong with the case, that's the guy who gets the shaft. And it sucks.
That is kind of the rule of thumb in the practice of law.
Correct.
Kind of like a hearing or trial, you worked it all up, and that's the one that doesn't go.
Yep.
But when you're like, oh, no one's going to show, and then you're like, oh, wait, I'm putting on this 2-hour case now. Cool. I read nothing about this.
Yeah.
Guess we're just going to wing it today.
Let me learn.
Let's learn both.
Yeah. Usually you learn doing opening statements.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I learned.
just say it. But here's another point too, is that I miss old Vegas. And one of the things is, back in the day, you could, you know, somebody gets in trouble, they're arrested, you used to be able to call or text the judge and be like, hey, it's my buddy, can we let him out? I'll personally vouch for him, blah, blah, blah. Loved it. It was wonderful. By and large, it has gone away. I'm not going to ask Tracy to do something unethical, because technically I guess that would be, because the prosecutor doesn't get to say blah, blah, blah. But Old Vegas is the type of place where somebody can come in on the day of trial and sub in and, you know, create a situation. The rules are pretty clear. You can't do that. Even though you do have a Sixth Amendment right of choice of counsel, you cannot use it for purposes of delay, which is what the argument is at the time of trial. I'm not, it's weird because I want to ask you if you're a rule follower, but like, I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean? But like,
There's actually case law on that now. That actually happened a couple of years ago in our track. One of our district court judges, it actually came.
our track?
Yep.
Back when I had a track too? No shit.
It actually came from a sex assault case, and
Was it mine?
no.
Oh.
But the defendant had multiple times done this before, and ultimately did very something similar to what I experienced, and that judge did make the case go forward, and it came back.
No shit, they can't.
To be the Sixth Amendment right is one of the crucial rights that they do have.
Wow.
Especially if they can afford it,
So now it's not considered for purposes of delay?
as long as they can show they do have a right to counsel.
Interesting. That's like actually kind of a bomb trumpet.
Because that is actually one of the cases we cited during that, doing our trial experience that I was telling you about.
Oh, interesting. That is fascinating.
Came out, I want to say 2021 or 2022.
Well, why the hell wouldn't you, if you were a criminal and you had a little bit of scratch, just like before trial? I mean,
that keep on switching out gardens.
And I think it is kind of happening because you see appointed counsel as well when they're trying to withdraw pleas. They didn't like this attorney. They'll keep getting it. At some point, it takes a judge to put the stop on it. Like when I think at the end of the day is when you make that call, when the judge makes the call, this person is playing games. We're no longer in the right to counsel land.
yeah.
I feel like that opens up a floodgate, though.
It really does.
Where does it stop, right?
Yeah. Like,
What if you're on your ninth attorney?
Jess and I are starting a criminal trial on Monday, and I think, sixth attorney?
Fifth or sixth, yeah.
Yeah.
Fifth or sixth attorney.
And I'm not saying he's playing games, you know, like,
And it happens. I mean,
Yeah.
personality conflicts and
whatnot.
I think that's what the young hearing's for, right?
Fair.
True.
Had quite a few.
I've had quite a few of those as well.
Young hearing is essentially whether you have such an adversarial relationship with your client that you cannot effectively represent them.
Communication is broken down.
Yes, those are not, when you're doing appointed work, when you're doing government, public defender work, those happen a lot simply because they don't trust that you're working hard for them because they don't hear from you. Usually because they're locked up and you can't see them every day. But trust me, the amount of work put into your case that you don't see until you walk in that door, it's night and day.
We all have our own system, and some people are more type A, and some people are more trial lawyers.
That is an excellent way to put it. It's like my daughter, she's like the number 2 kid in her class, pissed that she's not number 1. She's like, what'd you do in high school, Dad? I'm like, don't worry about it.
I graduated.
Yeah, right?
Got to put a number on them.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely the checklist person, which is why I do trials with people more like you and Jess, someone that's more easygoing, because I can't have 2 type A's. It would not work.
Are you saying I'm not type A?
Come on now.
I'm a type B.
You're my track conflict attorney. I know what's up. I did tell him that he's getting better now that he does show up early. I do see him early.
I'm punctual when.
I don't want to get that.
It's already been addressed.
Take the 5th. Take the 5th. So this is not about us, though. This is about you. You know, why judge? I'm sure it's because blah, blah, blah. You've seen how the system works, blah, blah, blah. You just want to change it, blah, blah, blah. I'm being cynical right now. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
you missed my spiel. That's why.
I get it. But, like, here's the thing. This is like, what's that shit they used to say on Fox News all the time? Like the no spin zone or whatever the fuck it was. Like, this is no bullshit zone. The only people who allowed to bullshit are weaknesses. But, like, obviously, you know, and this is weird. It's funny because Tracy's the type of person who's very forward and blunt, and she's like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. Like, usually we're begging people. So it is nice, but Tracy's that type of person who does want to expose herself, get out there, show that she's serious about these things. And like finding out that you wanted to run for judge is not really a surprise to me. And you being a good judge is not going to be a surprise to me. I think you're not going to listen to our bullshit as much, which, hurts my heart.
I'll try to keep a poker face.
Yes, try. Secrets will work on her. She knows all our bullshit already.
Just have a cool marshal who knows that we're allowed to be jackasses. That's the only thing. Because some of these marshals are like, and the judge has to be like, it's cool. Yeah.
Those guys are jackasses. Okay. It's okay.
But that's like the one thing that gets me is a marshal gets in my face like, hey, calm down. Like, I don't care.
I think I know who you're talking about. I had some bad
Randy
experience
gets a
with that.
pass. I love Randy. He gets a pass. Randy is the only one who's allowed to put me in my place.
I love Randy. We go back to our Osterley days.
Nancy Osterley was a judge way back in the day. She retired because
You? I'm just kidding.
there were some questions out there that I think she was worried about, and so she just got out of the process. Very nice lady, but she had no problem smacking you down in court. Counselor, I cannot hear them talking.
Don't do that, man. Don't do
Tell me I don't sound like her.
Don't do that. You gotta cut that out.
She was partially deaf. That's why she spoke like.
I didn't know that. Yes, I thought she was from somewhere else.
Wasn't she hard of hearing? Really? I thought she was hard of hearing. That's
We'll
why
talk about this off camera.
No.
But she did retire in 2010 because she didn't want to do another election.
No, because they had that whole fucking what's her name, the construction defect chick.
Kwan or
Yeah,
what's her name?
Michelle Kwan or no, Michelle Kwan.
Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy Kwan, who ended up dead in her fucking bathtub.
What's
Under the, I got it high under somewhere.
That's because you probably know more than us. Were you in CD at the time? Construction defect at the time?
Actually, I knew the name before that because when I started in the legal community in civil firm, it was 2003, and I saw her name as plaintiff's lawyer representing HOA many times over because I worked for a construction defect firm. So I did know that name from 2003.
You didn't work for Spring on Fate, did you?
No, I didn't.
That's where I started. I love those guys. They're great. Lenny Fan Club, you to Dell. Adam, love you too. You just way too much Michigan football, never around. Yeah. All right. So, what's the shittiest thing you've had to deal with doing the whole politicking thing?
This?
Not true. Not true.
Yes.
She removed her recording on the
answer.
podcast. I need to tell someone, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to a podcast with Jess Masuda and Ben Natick. And they're like,
Why?
Why can we listen to this?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Hey, we have thousands of viewers.
Houses. I do it 1,000 times.
They have to be bots. That's all I'm saying.
Jeff is like, click out, click in, click out.
Play.
Honestly, it's asking your friends and family and random network of people for money. That's probably my least favorite part. I know some people,
It is slimy.
some politicians that have been doing this for a while will say it's fundraiser, FUN. I think it's a necessary evil. You just have to do it. But I don't love it. That's probably my least favorite part. Talking to people, going to events, talking about why I want to run. Those things don't bother me, but it is definitely the asking.
Is it hard not talking shit about your opponent?
No, it's not. I don't know anything about her.
Fair enough. So why'd you choose to run against her? Oh, fuck. Y'all are gonna see me eat like Thousand Island nasty style. But why'd you choose her?
Per my last conversation,
It's all gonna get edited because I'm more important than anybody.
okay,
He puts up with my egos.
when we look through a list of people, district court is 32 departments in criminal and civil and A through Z, so 58 departments. And you go through the list of names, and some of them are friends. I've worked with them or crossed the aisle from them coming up in the last 14 years. Then you look at names and go, have I seen this person around? And when you have a name that you don't see pop up in community events or engagement, you wonder, if this person is giving back to the community in some ways.
Got it. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you. I have some answer, but yes, I will.
Done a lot of campaigning. Oh, see much.
Only that my opponent hired another campaign manager, obviously, and that person does a lot of the format, same people that they go to the same events and things like that.
It says no signal.
Do you have a campaign manager?
I do.
Who your campaign manager?
Bradley Mayer.
Okay.
He does mostly nonpartisan races. So he was doing the sheriff of McMahill. If Justice Herndon had an opponent, he would have ran Justice Herndon's Chief Justice Herndon's campaign as well. He does a lot of these city council.
Oh, so he does a lot of nonpartisan, huh?
Yes.
Really nonpartisan.
Yes.
They're all Republicans.
Oh, they're not.
Herndon's a Republican. McMahill's a Republican.
Don't out him.
Stop it. Stop it. I love Herndon.
I do too.
I do. It's overly tan.
He was my track judge.
I know he was. Great guy. I would vote for him.
You kind of have to now. He's the only name on the ballot.
No, nobody has to vote for him now. I mean, what are you going to choose? None of them. Yeah.
Knowing you might.
No, I like Herndon.
I love Herndon.
Me too. I did trials in front of him. Love
So did Jess.
Oh, I've done a lot of prep. Yeah.
Jess actually said the funniest thing ever in front of Herndon. According to her.
Didn't say the funniest thing ever.
I've gone over it a million times, but essentially Jess pointed to a vagina on a large screen and said, that's not the actual size of her vagina. I'm really paraphrasing the whole, thing, but it was hilarious.
It was a big screen.
Yes.
Had to make sure the jury understood.
Her vagina was not the size of a 60-inch Norwegian
But
pet.
not actual size.
Not the actual size.
So it was very entertaining, and Judge Herndon felt the need to point it out. He also did, there was a case involving a kid who was left in a car overnight for marriage. He was the judge on that. That was a very heartbreaking trial. But yes, and that's the whole thing where when we try to explain like prosecutor or, just criminal humor in general, doing the job, you have to be a little bit jaded. And so there are certain coping mechanisms that work for some. And
If you're a trial attorney on the criminal side, yeah, you gotta have thick skin.
Yeah.
We see some crazy things.
I thought
You
the
gotta-
thick skin was to help you with dealing with the yellings. You're always getting yelled at.
Yeah.
By some.
no, but it's also, you gotta, like,
Well, talking about the evidence part, like the photos, the videos we're gonna see sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't make any faces. We can't make any faces.
Yeah.
You tell your client not to make a face, you don't make a face.
no, but there's not that not making faces. It's the dealing with the fact that you had to watch somebody like rape the shit out of somebody.
That's why I mentor new attorneys. When I mentor them, I tell them, have non-lawyer friends so you don't talk about this shit all day.
Yeah.
And then have a hobby, and drinking's not one of them.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Their number one hobby.
What else am I gonna do, man?
But that's just selfish.
Now you're talking nonsense.
I know.
You do some yoga. I mean, come on, dude.
While drinking?
They actually do have drinking yoga. That's a thing.
We do.
I mean,
Well, he created it. So
Sounds like an awesome time.
they also have goat yoga, where like goats stand around and shit. That's the
What's
worst.
this? I did puppy yoga. You have like puppies running.
Puppies are better. The goat poop all day. No. I tried it. No.
Goats poop on you?
Yes. They just all they do. This little.
Some people pay extra for that.
Yeah.
Yes. The
It's-
yes. For that. Yes.
That's an extra.
How's that my fault? Like, you know me. Why are you surprised? Yeah, why are you surprised? All right, so is it just the two of you, or do you have a primary?
Nope. Going straight to general.
Okay, so that means that she'll have her election in November.
For those who were listening earlier.
The vote early, vote often.
here with us from the beginning.
Wow. Once again, the only reason we're redoing this is because these assholes changed the calendar on me.
Stand by you?
No, I didn't.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Majority wins.
No. They both don't remember for a reason.
Scheduling is fluid, man. Things come up.
Jesus loves you.
Jesus.
So, no, I'm thinking of how to phrase this without, like, one of the things is obviously you're supported by the plaintiffs bar. I think, if you look at your social media and stuff like that, very well regarded in that aspect. And obviously, I had talked to some of my friends on our side of the table, and they say that your opponent has an inspired confidence in certain areas. In a situation where you're either, and look, I'm not saying you're beholden to anybody, but in a situation where money comes in from certain people, like, how do you balance that out? You know what I mean? Like, you're supported by the plaintiff's bar. That would, presumably mean insurance defense isn't your biggest fan. I don't know. I'm guessing. But in a situation like that, and so one side supports you, like, do you feel a need? Well, I hope you feel a need to balance it out. But I guess a better question is how do you go about that? Like, do you feel beholden to the people who financially helped you get there in any way, shape, or form? You know what I'm trying to ask, even though I'm doing it very inartfully?
I think voters think about the same thing, right? When they see that they can see where the money's from, where the donations, it's public record. We're not hiding any of it. But at the end of the day, you're elected by the people. Yes, there are people that financially help you, but at the end of the day, your job's to follow the law. If you're following the law, you're never wrong. So you're not wrong to do the right thing.
Judge Fallu would disagree with you.
I mean, there's always something called abuse of discretion, right? Fair. People take judges up on that.
Yeah.
Be trial or decisions. That bar is also very high, but at the end of the day, if you read case laws, you're following the law, it is within your discretion. Yeah, you do have those discretions. And yes, some judges may disagree, but that's why there's checks and balances. You go up to Court of Appeals, you have Supreme Court. So you're not just running amok as a district court judge because somebody gave you money, but there's also checks and balances. It goes up. They're going to tell you, you can't do certain things. You're wrong, and you got to take that. Hey, okay, now you got to learn your lesson.
Yes, Daddy.
I don't even have to smack my hand.
One of the things also is I have found that at least, like in the criminal area, there's a certain level of competency. There's not a lot of people who fall below average. And this is going to sound like a shitty question too, but at the same time, it's not meant to be. The level of skill I find in the civil arena is much more varied. And so how do you have the patience to deal with people who are necessarily the best at stumbling through their case?
And I think I would take a page out of certain more senior judges' playbook. Actually, one of my new favorite judges is Judge Gall. She does criminal and civil now.
When I first started out, she helped me through my case, and I will always vote for her and give her money every election. So yes, that is definitely one thing that I will not forget.
She's got a great temperament. When she came to criminal, I think we were kind of nervous, but she runs a tight ship. That calendar is, she starts on time, she's quick, and there are still old school attorneys that will just kind of turn on and on a case that you could say submit, judge, and the judge would just sentence the person or rule on the motion. One of the things she would do is, obviously we know she's prepared, she reads everything. She comes out and tells you that without cutting you off. She'll tell you that. Tell me, counsel, I read on this page you told me X, Y, and Z. Counsel, you told me on your opposition X, Y, and Z. Anything else to add? So you're not taking time. You're not taking the wind out of the sail.
That's a very civil thing to do right there. And they never listen to that shit. Even the good ones never listen to that shit.
But it also helps in the criminal realm. There are certain attorneys we deal with that would just go on and on. Sir, like Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so, I just said, blah. I already said I read that. Anything else new? I understand you want to talk about that, but I told you I already read that. I'm ready to rule on it.
There was a guy yesterday. Yes, there was a guy yesterday who he's got to be a newer PD. I don't even I've never seen the guy. And Jess and I were in the same court, but Jess got a little later because he was handling something else. But he literally was talking for a half an hour on what was essentially an agreed upon sentence. Yeah. And the judge said that she was going to follow it. He felt the need to spend about a half an hour.
I think sometimes some of them just like to hear their own voice.
Oh man, that's a thing. Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, criminal, we don't get paid by the word. In civil, sometimes I believe that sometimes that the clients want to see, and I think a lot of times in criminal, especially when a client's in custody, you want to see your client. You want to see your attorney fight for you. And they want, even though they could say, Judge, if you're inclined to follow negotiations, I'll submit it.
Takes like 10 seconds.
But they feel like they need to put on a show with their client because they want to see the best representation, because PDs or appointed counsel do get a bad rep.
Well, one of the things is when you have a situation where you're going to do a deal and it's stipulated or whatever, usually you talk to your client beforehand and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. If she says this, we're just going to shut up because we're getting what we want.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't have that conversation, totally understand.
I tell all my clients that this is what we're going for. If the judge's going for it, we say nothing.
Yeah. And I do say a lot of the time, unless you're on the stand, the less you say is better.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if you're on the stand, the less you say is better as well.
Less is more, man.
And I already failed myself because I'm still here.
Shut the fuck up. But are you excited?
I am.
You're already planning your office?
I don't know about that. I think a lot of judges will feel differently. I mean, it's definitely going to be, when it's two females on the ballot, I think it's easier toss up because
Yeah, you're second on the ballot too.
and the voters are, like we talked about earlier, you got to do your research because judicial elections that people are very apathetic about it because they're like, oh, judges, they're nonpartisan. We really don't know anything about it. If I didn't see you on a news headline,
Yeah, nope. It's definitely a thing.
yeah. So it kind of helps that I'm not, Department Z in family court. It's a little bit higher up, so people.
Even as an attorney who does this, when it comes to family court, I'm just like, "Brrr." Tell me I'm wrong, Justin.
For family? Yeah, family. This one.
Yeah. So,
I like to spell it abacadabra. A-B-A-C-H.
I have found that when women are voting and they see a man versus a woman and they don't know, women every time.
Yeah.
I think that is very true. I think at any race, I think there is study that between a woman and a man, and it's that when it comes to election, I think a woman by just having a female name, it's a 5-point advantage easily, 4 to 5 points, automatic votes. Which is a huge swing in
Yeah.
a lot of elections.
Sexism is
I'll never do the opposite, man.
Your name is Jess. What do you have to worry?
I should round those any pictures up. Like, oh, that's a female. And she's ethnic.
Oh boy.
This is why I drink. And explain to me why drinking can't be a hobby. Drinking is wonderful, Hog.
Oh, yeah. It's 1:30.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I was like, didn't she say she had to be so sure at
2:30, I could.
1:30.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm getting fired now. Thanks.
All right. Well, I hope you do.
And that's why I'm here. I'm like, she's got something else.
You're getting elected anyways. All right, guys. That's the horribly inefficient from the beach to the bar. I am a diva and I ruined it. But thanks to Tracy Hibbetts, hopefully our soon-to-be judge in Department 5. Was that Ellsworth Department?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I'll stay enough.
Ben Chester, though.
Yes, she was.
She what?
She was in Ben Chester.
Oh,
for
Of course.
Love Ellsworth. Love Hibbetts. Vote for Hibbetts. She is a friend. It is funny. Usually we have all prosecutors, and technically she's a prosecutor, but she was a long-time public defender. We spent a lot of time with her there. She's always been entertaining. She's always been fair. She's always been smart.
Agreed.
Thank you for having me.
Toodaloo.